Welcome back, everybody. These are the best films of 1978. We got all the classics. We got the Oscar winners. We got the drama, horror, comedy, romance, thrillers. We got it all. Let's check out the best films that came out in 1978. A Family Upside Down. Helen Hayes and Fred Astaire, an elderly married couple, find that their physical and mental health deteriorates. They find themselves dependent more and more upon their grown children. A Family Upside Down, made for TV movie in 1978. A Different Story. Perry King, Meg Foster. A homosexual woman marries a gay male friend to prevent his deportation, but they soon fall in love. Drama and romance. A Different Story. A Real American Hero. Brian Denny and Forrest Tucker. Tennessee Sheriff Buford Puser attempts to stop a moonshiner whose bad liquor has blinded several teens. A Real American Hero. Crime and drama. A Wedding. Carol Burnett, Desi Arnaz Jr., the daughter of a Louisville trucker driver, marries the son of a very wealthy family, but the reception at the family estate is boycotted by the invited guests. Absolution. Richard Burton and Dominique Gard. At a boarding school in England, students Benji Stanfield and Arthur endeavor to drive their strict Roman Catholic priest father mad with their confessed sins. Absolution. The Ruttles. All You Need Is Cash. Charts the adventures of the Prefab Four, possibly the most famous band of all time, The Ruttles. All You Need Is Cash parody. Almost Summer. Bruno Kirby and Lee Purcell. A high school student body presidential race gets nasty when the expected winner, a beautiful and popular Christine, is challenged by an unknown candidate. Almost Summer is a great summer film. 1978 was awesome. An Enemy of the People. Steve McQueen, B.B. Anderson. A scientist stands against an entire town when he discovers their medicinal spa is polluted. An Enemy of the People. Drama. National Lampoon's Animal House. John Belushi, Karen Allen, Tom Hulsey, and Stephen Furst. At a 1962 college, Dean Vernon Wormer is determined to expel the entire Delta Tau Chi fraternity. Comedy. National Lampoon's Animal House. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Parody, satire, adventure, and comedy. A group of scientists band together to save the world from mutated killer tomatoes. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes will not disappoint. Avalanche. Rock Hudson, Mia Farrow. The vacationers at a winter wonderland struggle to survive after an avalanche of snow crashes into their ski resort. Disaster, action, drama, and thriller. Barracuda. Wayne Crawford. Little coastal town is being terrorized by deadly barracudas. Horror, thriller. Remember Jaws? And Piranha? Now you got Barracuda. The Big Fix. Richard Dreyfuss and Susan Anspach. An ex-60s radical now working as a private eye is hired by an old flame to investigate a political smear campaign. Comedy, mystery, and thriller. The Big Fix. The Big Sleep. Robert Mitchum, Sarah Miles. Grizzled American private detective in England investigates a complicated case of blackmail turned murder. Crime, drama, mystery, and thriller. The Big Sleep. Big Wednesday. Jan Michael Vincent, William Catt, and Gary Busey. Character study about the lives of some California surfers from the early 60s to the 70s as the Vietnam War interrupts their carefree life. Big Wednesday is a great movie. Blackout. James Mitchum and Robert Carradine. Thriller about four sadistic criminals who, after escaping during a transfer, take over a posh Manhattan apartment. Action thriller. Blackout. Blue Sunshine. Zalman King. A bizarre series of murders begins in Los Angeles where people start going bald and then become homicidal maniacs. Horror and thriller. Blue Sunshine. The Boys from Brazil. Gregory Peck and Laurence Olivier. A Nazi hunter in Paraguay discovers a sinister and bizarre plot to rekindle the Third Reich. The Boys from Brazil will not disappoint. Conspiracy thriller drama. Brass Target. Sophia Loren and John Cassavetes. In 1945, General Patton sends Germany's confiscated gold reserves to Frankfurt, but the army train is robbed. Action, drama, mystery, and thriller. Brass target. The Buddy Holly story, Gary Busey, Don Stroud. The story of the life and career of the early rock and roll singer from his meteoric rise to stardom to his marriage and untimely death. Great movie. Great movie. Bud and Lou, starring Harvey Korman and Buddy Hackett. The professional and personal lives of Bud Abbott and Lou Costello are examined. Biography drama. Bud and Lou, a touching movie about two beautiful people. La Caja Follies. The manager of a Saint-Tropez nightclub featuring drag entertainment and the star attraction are a gay couple. Satire and comedy. La Caja Follies. California Suite. Jane Fonda, Alan Alda, Maggie Smith, and Michael Caine, and Walter Matthau. Misadventures of four groups of guests at the Beverly Hills Hotel. California Suite. Capricorn 1. When the first manned flight to Mars is deemed unsafe and scrubbed on the launch pad, anxious authorities must scramble to save base. Elliot Gould, James Brolin, and Brenda Vaccaro. Capricorn 1. Casey's Shadow. Walter Matthau, Alexis Smith. Casey is a young boy in a family that trains racehorses. His best friend, a foal they call Casey's Shadow, looks to be a loser but comes out to be a champion. The Cat from Outer Space. Ken Berry and Sandy Duncan and Harry Morgan and Roddy McDowell. Three scientists help an alien feline stranded on Earth to repair its damaged spacecraft in order to return home. The Cat from Outer Space. The Cheap Detective. Peter Falk and Anne Margaret. San Francisco, 1940. Detectives, dames, documents, Nazis, and a treasure. The Cheap Detective. Bumbling detective parody and comedy. Up in Smoke. Stoner musicians Pedro de Pacas and Anthony Mann Stoner unknowingly smuggle a van. Cheech Marine and Tommy Chong. Up in Smoke. Cheech and Chong, Up in Smoke. Great comedy duo, great film. Child of Glass. A boy continues to see a ghost of Creole girl and has to help her to solve a riddle. Otherwise, he might be haunted for the rest of his life. Barbara Barbie and Bill McGuire. Bye Bye Monkey. Gerard Depardieu. A man walking on the beach near New York City finds corpses of King Kong. Comedy, drama, fantasy, and romance. Bye Bye Monkey. Bye Bye Monkey. Next up we have is Coach. Kathy Lee Crosby, Michael Bean. A town hires an Olympic track star named Randy Rawlings to coach the high school basketball team. Basketball, comedy, sport. Coach. A great film, check it out. Coma. Michael Douglas and Rip Torn. When a young female doctor notices an unnatural amount of coma is occurring in her hospital, she uncovers a horrible conspiracy. Medical drama, and conspiracy killer. Coming Home. Jane Fonda, John Voight, and Bruce Dern. In 1968 California, a woman whose husband is a Marine officer fighting in Vietnam falls in love with a former high school classmate who suffered a paralyzing injury. Convoy. Chris Christopherson, Ally McGraw, Ernest Borgnine. Truckers from a mile-long convoy in support of a trucker's vendetta with an abusive sheriff. Dark comedy, action, and drama. Corvette Summer. Mark Hamill, Annie Potts, Eugene Roach. High school graduate Kenneth Dantley Jr. and Vanessa, a hooker in training, try to track down his custom-made, newly stolen Corvette. Great movie. Corvette Summer. Here's another poster of Corvette Summer. There were several posters. Here was two. This movie was a blast, a fun ride all around. It's cheesy, it's corny, but it's a great summer film. Check out Corvette Summer. Cotton Candy. I love Cotton Candy. Charles Martin Smith. A group of high school friends form a rock band. This also stars Clint Howard, Ron Howard's younger brother. Comedy and musical. Check out Cotton Candy. You'll love it. You'll love it. Covert Action. CIA's agent life is endangered after he writes a book about his career with the agency. Covert Action with David Jansen and Corinne Clary. That was the Italian poster, but it's a great movie. Crash. On December 29, 1972, Eastern Airlines Flight 401 crashes into the Florida Everglades, resulting in 101 fatalities. William Shatner, Adrienne Barbeau, Brooke Bundy. Crash. Damien, Omen 2, William Holden and Lee Grant. Damien the Antichrist, now about to turn 13 years old, finally learns his destiny. Damien, Omen 2. This is a frightening movie. It's very good. Dawn of the Dead. During an escalating zombie epidemic, 2 Philadelphia SWAT team members, a traffic reporter, and his TV executive girlfriend seek refuge. Dawn of the Dead. Zombie horror survival. The Fists of Bruce Lee. An undercover cop has been assigned to bust up a narcotics ring, but comes up against the mob's hired martial artist assassin. Fists of Bruce Lee. If you like Kung Fu, you'll love Bruce Lee. Or karate, whatever it is. Enter 3 dragons. John Louis, the legendary Northern kick expert, is sent to investigate an antique smuggling gang working out of Canton. Enter 3 dragons. Death on the Nile. As Hercule Poirot enjoys a luxurious cruise down the Nile, a newlywed heiress is found murdered on board. Cozy mystery, period drama, police procedure. Dr. Dracula. John Carradine. An evil hypnotist puts a beautiful woman under his spell. Horror. Dr. Dracula will not disappoint. El Patrullero 777 follows Diogenes as he goes about his day as a police officer. He's prone to do things the right way, surrounded by a pretty much corrupt and citizens, distant police department. Action, comedy, and crime. An Evening in Byzantium. Terrorists invade the Cannes Film Festival. You can come out now. Boom. Glenn Ford, Eddie Albert, Shirley Jones, Vince Edward, Patrick McEnany. An Evening in Byzantium. Made for TV. Great movie. Every Which Way But Loose. Clint Eastwood, Sandra Locke, Jeffrey Lewis. The San Fernando Valley Adventures of trucker turned prize fighter Philo Beto and his pet orangutan Clyde. Every Which Way But Loose. The Eyes of Laura Mars, Faye Dunaway and Tommy Lee Jones. Fashion photographer Laura Mars, whose photographs contain violent images, develops the ability to see through her killer's eyes. This is an erotic thriller, suspense mystery. Fedora, William Holden and Martha Keller. Down on his luck, Hollywood producer Barry Detweiler attempts to lure Fedora, a famous but reclusive film actress. Showbiz drama, and romance. Fingers, Harvey Keitel, Tisa Farrow, Jim Brown. A dysfunctional young man is pulled between loyalties to his Italian mob-connected loan shark father and his mentally disturbed Jewish concert pianist mother. Fist, Sylvester Stallone, Rod Steiger, Peter Boyle. A rebellious Cleveland warehouse worker rises through the ranks of a trucking industry union to become union president, but his organized crime links cause eventual downfall. Fist. FM, Michael Brandon, Eileen Brennan. When a liberal music station's owners decide to introduce army recruitment ads, despite the protests of its manager, the rebellious DJs are determined to fight back no matter the cost. Force 10 from Navarone. During World War II, several oddly assorted military experts are teamed in a mission to raid and destroy a bridge vital to enemy strategy. Harrison Ford, Robert Shaw, Edward Fox. Foul Play. Goldie Hawn, Chevy Chase, Burgess Meredith. A San Francisco librarian picks up a hitchhiker whose car is broken down, which leads to her being stalked and hunted by shady individuals. Bumbling detective, comedy, and mystery. Going South. Jack Nicholson, Mary Steenburgen. Due to the lack of men after the Civil War, a western town allows a young bachelorette who lives alone to save a thief from hanging by marrying him. Dark comedy, and romance. Good Guys Wear Black, Chuck Norris and Ann Archer. An ex-U.S. Army commander must find the reason why his comrades from his unit are being systematically murdered, one by one. Grease, one of the best movies of the year and of all time. Good girl Sandy Olsen and greaser Danny Zuko fall in love over the summer. John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John, Starkart Channing, Jeff Conway. Grease. The Great Train Robbery, Sean Connery, Donald Sutherland. England, 1850s, a master criminal aims to rob a train of large sum of gold. Adventure, crime, drama, and thriller. The greatest horror movie of all time, Halloween. Donald Pleasance, Jamie Lee Curtis. 15 years after murdering his sister on Halloween night in 1963, Michael Myers escapes and tries to kill people in his path. Halloween. One for the ages. Harper Valley PTA with Barbara Eden, Ronnie Cox. A carefree single mother challenges the local PTA after they threaten to expel her daughter from school due to her lifestyle. Comedy. Heaven Can Wait. Warren Beatty, James Mason, Julie Christie, and Jack Morgan, and Charles Grodin. A Los Angeles Rams quarterback accidentally taken away from his body by an over-anxious angel before he was meant to die returns to the life of luxury. Holocaust. Joseph Bottoms, Tova Felsham, Rosemary Harris. The saga of a Jewish family struggle to survive the horror of Nazi Germany. Holocaust will not disappoint. War checks. Hooper. Burt Reynolds, Jan Michael Vincent, Sally Field. Aging Hollywood stuntman Sandy Hooper wants to prove that he's still got what it takes to be a great professional in his risky, under-recognized line of work. Hooper. Hot Lead and Cold Feet. Jim Dale, Darren McGavin. The saga of Old West involves twin brothers who compete for possession of a rickety cow town found by their father. Hot Lead and Cold Feet. Ice Castles. Lynn Holly Johnson and Robbie Benson. An inexperienced yet naturally gifted ice skater makes a spectacular debut in the skating world before encountering an event that can change her life forever. Beautiful movie. Interiors. Drama. Three sisters find their lives spinning out of control in the wake of their parents' sudden, unexpected divorce. Diane Keaton, Geraldine Page, Kristen Griffith, and Mary Beth Hurt. International Velvet. Tatum O'Neal, Christopher Plummer, Anthony Hopkins. Velvet's orphan niece, Sarah, follows her dream of Olympic glory with her horse, Arizona Pie. International Velvet will not disappoint. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. When strange seeds drip to Earth from space, mysterious pods begin to grow and invade, replicating other human beings. Donald Sutherland, Brooke Adams, and Jeff Goldblum. It Lives Again. An epidemic of monster babies sweeps across America. Horror and sci-fi. It Lives Again, the follow-up to It's Alive. Remember It's Alive? I Want to Hold Your Hand. This is a dark comedy about the Beatles. In 1964, 6 teenagers from New Jersey run off to see the Beatles. Nancy Allen, Bobby DeCoco, Mark McClure, and Wendy Jo Sperber. Jaws 2, one of the best films of all time. Roy Scheider, Lorraine Gary. Police Chief Brody must protect the citizens of Amity again after a second monstrous shark begins terrorizing the waters. Jaws 2. King of the Gypsies. In the criminal and violent world of modern-day gypsies based in New York City, the king, Zarko, passes his leadership to an unwilling grandson, Eric Roberts and Judd Hirsch. Like Mom, Like Me. A middle-aged mom adjusts to the realities of being divorced, which include managing her sex life and facing the possibility that her teenage daughter might be doing the same. Linda Lavin and Christy McNichol and Max Gale. Like Mom, Like Me. Magic. Anthony Hopkins and Anne Margaret. A ventriloquist is at the mercy of his vicious dummy while he tries to renew a romance with his high school sweetheart. Magic. Psychological horror, thriller, slasher. Malibu Beach. Kim Langford. School's out and it's time for summer of fun. Mischief and love for various characters on Malibu Beach. Comedy. You'll love it. Total 70s. Manny's Orphans. Manny coaches soccer for the fashionable Creighton Hall School, but is relieved of duty because he's not a good match for the school. Then he comes up against other orphans, rescues them, and they form a soccer team and beat the rich kids. Manny's Orphans. Mean Dog Blues. Country singer Paul Ramsey gets betrayed by a friend and lands on a prison farm for 5 years. Action drama thriller. Mean Dog Blues. This is about revenge. The Magic of Lassie, James Stewart and Mickey Rooney. Lassie is trying to find her way home. She will have to run all the way from Colorado to California. Her loving owner is looking for her too. The Magic of Lassie. Moment by Moment. Trisha Rawlings, a Beverly Hills socialite, suffers from loneliness following the separation of her womanizing husband. Moment by Moment. Lily Tomlin and John Travolta. Money Movers. An armored car company is the target of repeated heists. Company leadership is forcing new measures in order to tighten security. Terrence Donovan and Tony Bonner. Money Movers. Slave of the Cannibal God. A woman and her brother fly to New Guinea to look for a lost expedition led by her husband, which has vanished in the jungle. Ursula Andress and Stacy Keach. Slave of the Cannibal God. Nowhere to Run. David Jansen and Alan Garfield. Harry patiently executes a 15-year-old plan to accumulate enough wealth to start a new life. Drama. Nowhere to Run. Nunzio, protected by his brother, a mentally impaired Brooklynite pretends he's Superman and becomes a hero. David Provo, Nunzio. Nunzio was a great movie. It came on HBO in 1978. Instant classic. Oliver's Story. In this sequel to Love Story, grieving Oliver is being pressured by his in-laws to move on and take part in the family business. Ryan O'Neal and Candice Bergen. Oliver's Story. Remember Love Story? Now this is Oliver's Story. Ollie Oxenfree. Two young boys and an eccentric old woman who owns a junkyard work together to build a hot air balloon in time to launch it on their birthday. Katharine Hepburn. Ollie Oxenfree. Midnight Express. Brad Davis and Irene Miracle. Billy Hayes, an American college student, is caught smuggling drugs out of Turkey and thrown into prison. Midnight Express. Our Winning Season. Scott Jacoby and Deborah Benson. The story follows three teenagers through their senior year of high school in the 1960s, focusing on the star athlete of the group. Our Winning Season. Paradise Alley. Sylvester Stallone, Lee Carnelito. Three Italian-American brothers living in the slums of 1940s New York City try to help each other with one's wrestling career. Drama. Paradise Alley. Patrick, a young nurse who just started working at a public clinic, begins to suspect that a comatose young man may possess the powers of psychokinesis. Susan Phalangian and Robert Halperin. Patrick. Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park. Great movie? Kiss. A rock band made up of superheroes battles an evil inventor who has plans for destruction at a California amusement park. I love this movie. Remember My Name. Just released from prison, a young woman arrives in town to start a new life, but soon begins stalking a married construction worker for no apparent reason. Geraldine Chaplin and Anthony Perkins. The Inglorious Bastards. Bo Svensson, Peter Hooton. In 1944, France, a group of escaped American military prisoners en route to Switzerland volunteered to steal a German V-2 rocket warhead for the Allies. The Inglorious Bastards. Rabbit Test. Billy Crystal, Alex Rocco. Ligel's life turns around after a one-night stand on top of a pinball table. He becomes the world's first pregnant man. Rabbit Test. Rescue from Gilligan's Island. Bob Denver, Alan Hale, and the Castaways. The castaways must try to readjust to life and civilization after they are rescued from Gilligan's Island. Return from Witch Mountain was an adventure, family, and fantasy. Betty Davis, Christopher Lee, Kim Richards, and Ike Eisman. Tina and Tony visit Los Angeles, but he's quickly kidnapped by an evil scientist, leaving her to desperately search for him. Return from Witch Mountain. Revenge of the Pink Panther. Peter Sellers and Herb Lom. To prove that he's still strong and powerful, Philippe Dubois decides to kill Clouseau. Bubbly detective, farce, and comedy. Revenge of the Pink Panther. Same time next year, Alan Alda and Ellen Bernstein. Beginning in 1951, a neurotic married accountant George and naive married homemaker Doris have a one-night stand and they meet at the same place once a year. Same time next year. Senior Year. One of the most widely seen youth films of the late 70s, this dramatic motion picture follows the lives of Steve and Angie during their senior year of high school. Senior year. Drama. Sextet. On the day of her wedding to her sixth husband, a glamorous silver screen sex symbol is asked to intervene in political dispute between nations, which leads to chaos. Mae West, Timothy Dalton, Dom DeLuise, and Tony Curtis. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. A small-town band hits it big, but it must battle a nefarious plot in the music industry. Peter Frampton and Barry Gibb and the Bee Gees. And George Burns. The Silent Partner. Elliot Gould, Christopher Plummer, Susan York. A timid bank teller anticipates a bank robbery and steals the money himself before the crook arrives. Comedy and crime and drama. Skateboard. A Hollywood agent finds himself in debt to a powerful bookie. To make fast buck, he creates a team of exceptionally talented skateboarders and enters them in a downhill race. If they win, they will get $20,000. Someone's watching me. A woman is being watched in her apartment by a stranger who also calls and torments her. A cat and mouse game begins. Lauren Hutton and David Burney and Adrienne Barbeau. Slasher horror. Star Hops. 3 car hops try to save a failing drive-in restaurant. Star Hops comedy. This movie is one for the ages. Total 70s. Captures the era. A lot of pop culture in this film. Stingray. Lonigan and his partner Tony, 2 drug dealers, shoot 2 cops and attempt to set them up. Stingray. Action, comedy, and crime. Christopher Mitchum, Les Landlin. Stingray. Straight Time. Dustin Hoffman and Teresa Russell and Gary Busey. The difficulties of a career burglar to reinsert himself after being released on parole. Straight Time. Summer of Fear. Linda Blair and Lee Purcell. A teenage girl's life is turned upside down after her cousin moves into her house. As time goes by, she discovers that she is a witch. Summer of My German Soldier. Drama, romance, and war. Kristen McNichol, Bruce Davison, Esther Roll. A young American girl meets a German prisoner of war. Summer of My German Soldier. Superman, Save Us. Christopher Reeves and Margot Kidder and Gene Hackman and Marlon Brando. An alien orphan is sent from his dying planet to Earth, where he grows up to become an adoptive home first and greatest superhero. Superman. Thank God It's Friday. Donna Summer, Valerie Landsberg. A Friday in the life of the disco club The Zoo, where the staff and clients meet and dance their lives away. Thank God It's Friday. Total 70s. The Four Feathers. Beau Bridges and Robert Powell. When British Lieutenant Faversham resigns his commission rather than fight in the 1882 Sudan War, his army pals present him with the 4 white feathers of cowardice. The Four Feathers. The Ghost of Flight 401. An aircraft crashes in the Florida Everglades, killing 103 passengers. After the wreckage is removed, salvageable parts of the plane are used to repair the other aircraft. Ernest Borgnine. Drama, mystery, and thriller. The Inglourious Bastards. In 1944 France, a group of escaped American military prisoners en route to Switzerland volunteered to steal a German B-2 rocket warhead. This is the American poster. Last one I showed you was the German poster. The $1 Million Dixie Deliverance. During the Civil War, 5 children from a Union family are held hostage by Confederate soldiers. Adventure, drama, and family. Slave of the Cannibal God. A woman and her brother fly to New Guinea to look for a lost expedition, led by her husband, which has vanished in the jungle. Ursula Andress and Stacy Keach. Slave of the Cannibal God. Heidi. Young Heidi is sent to live with her grandfather in the mountains, where she discovers the liberty and the beauty of Swiss landscapes. Drama and family. Heidi. The Word, David Jansen and James Whitmore. A document is discovered that appears to be an ancient eyewitness account of the life of Jesus. A public relations executive is hired to publicize this document. The Word, drama. This movie is a scorcher. The Bad News Bears go to Japan. Tony Curtis and Jackie Earl Haley. A small-time hustler takes the pint-sized baseball team to Japan for a match against the country's best little league team. The Bad News Bears go to Japan. The Deer Hunter, Robert De Niro, Christopher Walken. An in-depth examination of the ways in which the Vietnam War impacts and disrupts the lives of several friends in a small steel mill town in Pennsylvania. The Deer Hunter. The End, Burt Reynolds, Sally Field, and Dom DeLuise. Slapstick black comedy about a man who finds that he hasn't much longer to live and has bungled his attempts at suicide. The End. This is a great comedy. The Fury. A former CIA agent uses the talents of a young psychic to help retrieve the telekinetic sun from a shadowy secret government agency. Kirk Douglas. John Cassavetes and Carrie Snodgrass. The Fury. The Manitou. A psychic girlfriend finds out that a lump on her back is a growing incarnation of a 400-year-old demonic ghost beast. The One and Only. Henry Winkler portrays an outrageously self-confident but out-of-work actor, a young man who dreams of stardom and leaves college to pursue fame and fortune. The One and Only is Henry Winkler and Kim Darby. I love this movie. Seniors. 4 students open a bogus sex clinic for cheap thrills and then are amazed to see it blossom into a profitable business. Next thing we have is The Swarm. Deadly African bees spread over Texas and kill thousands of people. Scientists led by Bradford Crane and Captain Helene. Michael Caine and Catherine Ross. The Swarm, about killer bees. Look at all the swarm. The Driver. A getaway driver becomes the latest assignment for a tenacious detective. Ryan O'Neal, Bruce Dern, and Isabelle Adjani. Next up we have is The Medusa Touch. Richard Burton and Lee Remick. A telekinetic novelist causes disaster simply by thinking about them. The Medusa Touch. Drama and mystery. The Warriors. Can you come out and play? Michael Beck and James Remar. A street gang known as the Warriors must fight its way from the Bronx to its home turf on Coney Island. Action, crime, and thriller. One of the greatest movies of all time. Warriors. Trauma. A writer arrives to an isolated boarding house run by a beautiful but strange woman. Shortly after his arrival, guest starts to get violently killed. Trauma. Horror and thriller. An Unmarried Woman. Jill Clayburgh, Alan Bates. Wealthy Erica Benson from Manhattan's Upper East Side struggles to deal with her new identity and her sexuality. Comedy, drama, and romance. An Unmarried Woman. Who is killing the great chefs of Europe? European chefs are being killed in the same ways that their special dishes are prepared. George Segal, Jacqueline Bisset, Robert Morley. Comedy, crime, and mystery. This is a great movie. It was all over HBO in 1978. Who'll Stop the Rain? Nick Nolte, Tuesday Weld. A Vietnam veteran gets conned into helping an old Marine fiend smuggle drugs into the country, but ends up going on the run. Who'll Stop the Rain? Young Blood. Lawrence Hilton Jacobs. A gang war drug story set in Los Angeles ghetto about the coming of age of a 15-year-old black youth. Young Blood. Action, crime, and drama. 0 to 60. Darren McGavin. Joan Collins. A divorced man hooks up with a street-smart 16-year-old who makes her living by repossessing cars from their owners. 0 to 60. Those were the best films of 1978. What were your favorite films of 1978? Mine was Jaws 2. No, I can't think. I just rattled off so many movies. Fist. I love Sylvester Stallone. I love Gene Hackman. I love Ice Castles. Slapstick. I loved all those movies. What were your favorite movies of 1978? 1978 was a great year for movies, and you'll notice that we're getting closer and closer to the 80s. But we got to wrap up the 70s first. So those were the best films of 1978. Leave your comments, questions below. If you have any questions or feedback or requests, leave those comments below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. And I'll see you all in the next video.